Okay, we are starting on Unit 5, Day 1 in your packet. If you didn't pick up a packet because you were absent, I will upload that file as well or put it in modules. Or you can also just take notes on a piece of paper. So today we're just focusing on ratios and proportions, which you have seen before, but hopefully filling in a little gaps for you as well. The ratio of A to B, there's several different ways we can write that. We can write that as A over B. We can also write that as A to B. And remember, ratio is just a fancy word for fraction. So let's take a look at a few examples. It says we've got 12 boys and 16 girls, so that means we have a total of 28 students. We have to write the ratio of boys to girls. We've got 12 or 16, and they're going to assume that you're going to reduce if possible. So 4 goes into each one of those. We end up with 3/4. B, they want girl students. 16 over 28. 4 goes into both of those, and we get 4/7. The next one, in the House of Representatives, there's 435 seats. 7 are occupied by women. They want the ratio of men to women. So I'm just writing myself a note. I want men to women. So we need to go find the number of men. So 435 minus 70. That's 6 is 300. Let's try again. 365. So we've got 365 over women, which is 70. I'm going to grab my calculator because there's one thing I did want to show you as well. Okay, what I was going to try and show you, 365 fraction bar 70. Unfortunately, that reduces it to a mixed number. So I'm going to do 70 fraction bar 365. It reduces it to 14 over 73. I just need to know that's 73 over 14. Okay, next one, we're still writing ratios, but we've got some converting. You've got 12 centimeters over 4 meters. If you recall, there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So we're going to take 4, multiply it by 100. We get 400 centimeters now. And now we can go ahead and reduce that. We end up with 3 over 100. And I believe in the Math Excel, they'll tell you whether they want it as centimeters or meters. For the next one, we've got yards and feet. If you don't remember that conversion, it is 3 feet is to 1 yard. So that would be 9 feet over 6 feet, which reduces to 3 over 2. Next one, it says the perimeter of a rectangle is 60 centimeters. The ratio of AB to BC is 3 to 2. So I don't know the lengths of either one of those, but I do know they have a ratio of 3 to 2. AB to BC. So I'm going to let this be equal to a 3x, which means this side is equal to a 2x. And let's think about the y. If I write this as a ratio, 3x over 2x, notice the x's cancel, and I can see they have a ratio of 3 to 2, which is what was given. We know opposite sides in the rectangle are congruent. Talks about perimeter. That means we're going to add up all of the sides. We end up with 100x is equal to 60. X is equal to 6, and they want the length and the width. So the length is AB, says it's 3x. So 3 times 6 is 18. The length of BC is 2x, so 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, moving on to number 8, similar. Okay, moving on to the next question, we've got triangle JKL. It says the measures of their angles are an extended ratio. An extended ratio just means you've got three different sides going on, or in this case, three different angles. And it says the ratio of their angles are 1, 2 to 3. That means we've got 1x, 2x, and 3x. And we know the sum of the angles in a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. 6x is equal to 180. X is equal to 30, and we have to find the measures of the angles. Well, the first angle is 1x, so that's 30 degrees. The second is 2 times 30, which would be 60, and the third one is 3 times 30, which is 90. Notice when you add all of those up, you do get 180 degrees. Okay, moving on to the back side. So in the front, we talked about ratios. Said ratios is just a fraction comparing two numbers. Taking it one step further then, a proportion is two equivalent fractions. So that's what our focus is going to be in the back. If you remember, to solve proportions, we solve by cross multiplying. When you cross multiply, you create equal fractions. We'll just put equal cross products, for example. So if we take a look at this proportion, and some of you I think have talked about the butterfly, we know that AD is equal to BC. Once you cross multiply, you just need to solve for the variable using your algebra. And there are 4 different ways that we can look at a proportion and know that they're equivalent. So if this is our proportion here, let's take a look. The main thing we want to see is when I cross multiply, I have to end up with MR is equal to AB. Well, let's take a look at this one. From here, if you notice, all they did was flip the left side. In turn, they flipped the right side, and I can see I still have AB is equal to RM. This is true. This is sometimes called the reciprocal property. Okay, if we look at the next one, they multiplied MB and AR. Well, remember, this is what we have to end up with. This is false. Okay, the next one, that's exactly what we have. This is the cross products. And then finally, let's look at the next one. They did R over A and B over M. Again, the main quick way we can check, we still have MR and AB. This one is sometimes called the exchange property. And the main property that we need to know is the cross product, but I'm just trying to point out these do have names, but I'm just quickly checking to make sure I end up back at that same cross product. All right, so let's use that to go ahead and cross multiply. I can cross multiply here. We've got 2x is equal to 42, x is equal to 21. And another way some of you might see this, to get from 2 to 6, I multiply by 3. 7 by 3 gets me 21. So you can do either one. Let me scoot it up so you can actually see it. Okay, same thing on the next one. I'm going to cross multiply. We've got 4x equals 10 times x minus 6. We need to make sure we distribute. I'm going to subtract the 10x from both sides. We're going to divide by negative 6, and we end up with x is equal to 10. On to the next one. Again, we're going to cross multiply. X squared is equal to 36. Remember, this is quadratic, which means there should be 2 solutions. When I go and take the square root, we end up with plus or minus 6. The last one, again, we cross multiply. X squared plus 1x equals 6. This is quadratic. We're going back and doing a little review of factoring. We're going to subtract that 6. So if you recall, we're looking for two numbers that multiply to give you -6, but add to give you 1. We've got x and x. That would be a +3 and a -2. So when we set each of these equal to 0, we get x is -3 and x is equal to 2. Okay, looking at the last one, it says the ratio of AB to BC is 2 to 5. Again, I'm going to put AB over BC. We've got 2 over 5. We've got AB is x and BC is 20. So we can go and cross multiply. And we end up with x is 8, and that's all they were asking us to find. Okay, last one, it says the scale on a map is 1.5 centimeters to 300 meters. It says the distance between the two stations is 6 centimeters, so that's on a map, it's 6 centimeters. They want us to find the actual number of meters. So again, we're going to cross multiply. We've got 1.5x equals 1,800. I'm going to go ahead and divide. We end up with x is equal to 1,200 meters. Okay, that's it. Make sure you get your notes, like I said, on the paper in your packet or on a separate piece of paper, and then you've got the Math Excel. I'm asking that you get 50% of it done by tonight. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to send me an email. Thanks.